Welcome back to week 2 of the 2017-18 school year news or snooze.
It's not snooze.
As some affectionately call it.
Yes. I am Mrs. Harrell.
I'm Mr. Stack. So today we're going to be going over a variety of topics as we enter really into this school year and really start to knuckle down on things. Is that even a phrase? Knuckle down? I don't know what that means, but it came out. I panicked. I said something.
Yeah, you threw me.
So the first thing we want to talk about is we do have our first kind of semi-big homework project coming up. It's going to be due now on Friday. We originally said on Thursday, but we are always flexible with our homework assignments. If we feel they need more time, we give them more time. So we switched it to Friday. That is the What's in a Name?
I have a poem. Are you ready? This is dedicated to you. 'Tis but thy name that is my enemy. That's all I got.
What?
I was really trying to do the Romeo and Juliet poem,
What does that
but
have to do with anything?
But I didn't know when
What's
it
in
started.
a name? By a name?
Oh, there it is. By a name, I know not how to tell thee who I am. My name, dear saint, is hateful to myself because it is an enemy to thee.
We hear confusing man.
Okay, so their first project or homework assignment is called What's in a Name? And what the students are supposed to do is research the origin of their name. They can do this by submitting a Google Doc or a Google Slide, or they can use Google Drawing. I've been telling my kids, I'm really looking for 3 things. First of all, making sure that your actual first name is on your document or your slide. I need to know the origin of your name, like where did it come from, where is it derived from. I need to know how your parents came up with that name for you. And then I had them answer the question, if you could change your name, would you and why? And if not, why?
Same. And I think some of them wanted to, at least I was asked, can we do our first, last name, and middle name?
Oh, wow.
And yes, sure, if you want to, but we're just looking for first name. If you want to get into last name and middle name too, knock yourself out, but make sure you're doing that first name first so you get that done first.
Extra credit assignment, if you can research Mr. Stack, his first name is Jacob, tell him in a proper email what his name means. And if you're on my team, you're going to research Megan and you're going to find out what my name means and send it in an email for some extra credit points.
Cool. Our next project that we have coming up will be assigned on Friday. So we have a project due, and then we're going to assign our next project, which our next project, we used to call it the Facebook project, but Mrs. Harrell had the brilliant idea to name it Fake Book.
Exactly.
And I'll let her explain exactly what that is.
So the students are going to be researching someone from history, anyone who is from history. It doesn't have to be ancient history, it can be modern history, and they should know what that means. And then they're going to create a fake book page using a template that Mr. Stack and I will give them. We'll go over the rubric, we'll go over the guidelines of what they have to do. Last year, one of the big concerns was parents were kind of concerned. They didn't want their kids creating Facebook pages. They thought they were actually doing this, and that's not what they're doing. They're going to have a template that they use, and there's going to be certain information that they'll have to put on there. But we'll go over it, and then once we go over it, we will put everything on Google Classroom so they have access to all of that.
Yep. So that's on Friday. That's going to be assigned. Next big thing on Friday is, you should know this by now, but if this is the first time you're hearing it, talk to your kids. It's picture day on Friday. So make sure they're wearing something nice. Hair's all done up, all that stuff. They should have brought home a form that you can fill out if you want it. But even if they don't bring that home, there are extras, I believe,
in the office.
And I even think that this year, you can go to the website even. So there's a lot of ways. Obviously, it's ideal to have that thing turned in on Friday, but if you miss that, it doesn't mean you can't get pictures.
And if you're not going to be here on Friday, it's okay. We do have picture retakes. I don't know when that day is right now, but I do know that they will have them.
Yep. Last on here, so just kind of some house cleaning items. So checking Skyward. You guys should have at least a couple emails now from your students that are basically, they're sending home their grades, and they're getting that on Skyward. But you can check their Skywards as well. You should all know how to do that.
We encourage you to check Skyward.
So you should be getting a screenshot of their Skyward grades. But if you want that, see that more than once a week, you have access to that.
Also, missing assignments are also added on to that email too if your kid is missing that. One thing that's not on our notes, but I just thought about it, we will start BSP, which is next Wednesday. And we'll be sending, so maybe in our next broadcast we'll talk a little bit more about BSP, but basically in a nutshell,
it's just the Brave Success Program. It is not a punishment at all. Some kids look at it and say, oh my goodness, I have to stay from 3 to 4. That's like detention. And that's not the case.
Right.
It is just an hour where there is a teacher after school, and all they're there for is to help the students get caught up, if they have questions on anything. So it's basically, it's like an hour of tutoring that's
Support.
Provided. So that is provided every single week. And we may be suggesting to them that they should go to BSP. And all that is maybe you're missing a few assignments, you're kind of just falling behind, and you need that little bit of extra help just to get caught up and get you back on track.
that's right. So that starts on Wednesday the 13th. That's the day before my birthday. You see that plug?
22.
22. The only other thing that we had to talk about is we had a parent question, and if you have questions, please email us, and if we feel like someone else needs to hear it, we'll feature it in our schnews. And the question was, how do I know if my child is completing an assignment or homework?
I think the easiest way is by asking them if their homework's done. But as we all work and have middle schoolers, we know that's not always the best way to get an answer.
Right.
So there are other ways.
And the other way is you can either log on to Skyward, and if you see an asterisk or a 0, that means the assignment was not turned in at all. Sometimes you'll see an MA, which means missing assignment. And then you can also log on to their Google Classroom or look at their Google Drive. So if you know, for example, what's in a name homework assignment, all you have to do is tell them to pull it up on their Google Drive and show you that it's completed. They have access to working on anything in Google as far as Drive and Slides and Excel offline. So there's no reason why they can't get it done.
Awesome.
Hope that
We're
helps.
almost at 7.5 minutes.
Oh my goodness. No.
That's way too long.
It's way too long.
So
All right.
we will not keep you any longer. And
thanks
we
for joining
will
us.
sign out and see you next week.
Deuces.